Chapter 1. The nature of conflict. War is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that has shaped human history for millennia. Understanding the essence of war begins with recognizing its various dimensions, causes, and consequences. In this chapter, we'll delve into the fundamental aspects of war. Conflict, whether on a local or global scale, is a constant feature of human existence. At its core, war is an extreme manifestation of conflict. It involves the organized and often violent struggle between groups, states, or nations, with divergent interests, values, or objectives. To understand war, we must consider its causes. Conflicts may erupt due to territorial disputes, ideological differences, competition for resources, or power struggles. Moreover, war can be instigated by grievances stemming from historical injustices, ethnic tensions, or religious beliefs. War's impact extends far beyond the battlefield. Its consequences encompass death, displacement, and physical destruction. It also brings about profound changes in societies, economies, and global geopolitics. To grasp the essence of war, we must study its history, examining the strategies, tactics, and innovations that have marked the evolution of warfare. Through this exploration, we gain insight into the dynamics of war and its influence on civilizations. In the chapters to come, we'll explore the psychology of warfare, the role of technology, the ethics of war, and much more, as we seek a comprehensive understanding of this complex and enduring facet of human existence. Chapter 2. The psychology of war. To understand war fully, we must delve into the psychology that underlies it. Humans are both rational and emotional beings, and these factors play a significant role in the decision to engage in conflict. War often stems from a combination of rational calculations and emotional triggers. Leaders, driven by political, strategic, or economic objectives, make decisions that can lead their nations into war. Yet, the emotions of fear, anger, and pride can be powerful catalysts for these decisions. On an individual level, soldiers and combatants face the psychological burden of war. They must cope with fear, stress, and the moral complexities of taking human lives. Understanding the mental and emotional aspects of war is crucial to mitigating its psychological toll on those who participate. Psychological factors also influence public opinion and support for war. Governments use propaganda and emotional appeals to rally their populations behind military actions. Citizens, in turn, must grapple with their personal beliefs, values, and fears when deciding whether to support or oppose war efforts. By delving into the psychological dimensions of war, we gain insight into why nations go to war, how soldiers experience combat, and how societies respond to the trauma of armed conflict. This understanding is essential for addressing the human cost of war and seeking alternatives to resolve conflicts peacefully. Chapter 3. The role of technology in warfare. The landscape of war has been profoundly shaped by technology. Understanding the impact of technological advancements is crucial in comprehending the evolution of warfare and its consequences. Throughout history, innovations such as the development of firearms, artillery, and mechanized warfare have revolutionized how wars are fought. Technology has not only increased the lethality of conflict but has also influenced the strategies and tactics employed by military forces. In the modern era, information technology has transformed the way wars are waged. Cyber warfare, surveillance, and communication technologies have become critical elements of military operations. Understanding these advancements is essential for grasping the complexities of contemporary conflicts. Furthermore, technology has altered the dynamics of power on the international stage. Nuclear weapons, for example, have redefined the concept of deterrence, affecting the behavior of nations and the balance of power in the world. In the chapters ahead, we will explore the ethical implications of technological advancements in warfare and the challenges they pose in the quest for peace and international security. Technology has both the potential to mitigate the horrors of war and to escalate its destructiveness. Understanding this duality is vital as we navigate the complexities of the modern world. Chapter 4. The ethics of war. Understanding war also involves a critical examination of the ethical dimensions that guide how conflicts are conducted. Ethics in war, often referred to as just war theory, provides a framework for evaluating the morality of military actions. The principles of just war theory encompass two main categories: jus ad bellum, the justice of going to war, and jus in bello, the justice within war. Jus ad bellum criteria include concepts like just cause, right intention, and proportionality, which help evaluate the moral justification for initiating armed conflict. Jus in bello, on the other hand, focuses on how wars are fought. It involves principles such as discrimination and proportionality during combat. These principles guide the conduct of soldiers and aim to minimize harm to civilians and non-combatants. Ethical considerations also extend to questions of humanitarian intervention and the responsibility to protect, which involve intervening in conflicts to prevent or halt mass atrocities. Understanding these principles helps nations, organizations, and individuals navigate the moral complexities of war. In our exploration of the ethics of war, we will also examine the challenges of applying these principles in practice and the evolving nature of warfare, where issues like asymmetry, drones, and cyber warfare raise new ethical dilemmas. By addressing the ethical aspects of war, we aim to promote a more just and humane approach to conflict, emphasizing the importance of minimizing suffering and respecting the principles of humanity even in the midst of violence. Chapter 5. The human cost of war. War exacts a heavy toll on individuals, communities, and societies. Understanding the human cost of war is a poignant and critical aspect of comprehending its true impact. The casualties of war are not limited to the battlefield. Soldiers and civilians alike suffer physical and psychological injuries, and many lose their lives. The wounded often face lifelong challenges, and the families of the fallen bear the emotional and economic burdens of loss. Displacement is another profound consequence of war. Millions are forced to flee their homes due to conflict, becoming refugees or internally displaced persons. This upheaval disrupts lives and creates humanitarian crises, with vulnerable populations left without the basic necessities of food, shelter, and healthcare. The psychological trauma experienced by both combatants and civilians is a hidden but pervasive cost of war. Conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, can linger long after the guns fall silent. Understanding this aspect of war is crucial for providing support and treatment to those affected. Economic costs are also significant. Nations divert substantial resources to fund their military efforts, which could otherwise be used for education, healthcare, and development. This diverts attention from addressing social and economic issues, contributing to long-term instability. By recognizing the multifaceted human costs of war, we can empathize with the suffering it causes and strive for diplomatic solutions to prevent armed conflicts. Understanding these costs reinforces the importance of peace as a means of preserving human life and well-being. Chapter 6. The global impact of war. War is not confined by borders. Its consequences ripple through the global landscape. Understanding the global impact of war is essential for comprehending its interconnected nature. Wars can disrupt international trade, leading to economic instability and affecting countries far from the conflict zone. Supply chains, resource availability, and financial markets can all be affected by the turbulence of war. Furthermore, wars can generate waves of refugees, straining neighboring countries and creating humanitarian challenges on a global scale. This has the potential to fuel regional instability and diplomatic tensions. Armed conflicts can also draw in various actors from the international community. This involvement may take the form of peacekeeping missions, humanitarian aid, or political mediation. International organizations such as the United Nations play crucial roles in managing and mitigating the global impact of war. In the modern era, the specter of nuclear conflict poses a global existential threat. Understanding the global consequences of nuclear war is paramount, as it could result in catastrophic and long-lasting damage to the environment, public health, and global stability. By grasping the far-reaching repercussions of war, we can appreciate the interconnectedness of our world and the shared responsibility to seek peaceful solutions to conflicts. The global impact of war highlights the necessity of diplomacy, cooperation, and conflict resolution on an international scale. Chapter 7. Conflict resolution and diplomacy. Understanding war necessitates exploring the methods and strategies for resolving conflicts peacefully. Conflict resolution and diplomacy are critical tools in preventing and ending armed confrontations. Diplomacy involves the use of negotiations, communication, and diplomacy to address disputes and find common ground. It seeks to avert war by allowing parties to reach mutually beneficial agreements, and when war has erupted, it endeavors to bring about ceasefires and peace treaties. International organizations such as the United Nations, regional bodies, and diplomatic mediators play essential roles in facilitating diplomacy and peace talks. They create platforms for dialogue, provide resources for negotiations, and encourage parties to find nonviolent solutions to their conflicts. Conflict resolution strategies can include negotiations, mediation, arbitration, and even truth and reconciliation processes. These methods aim to address the root causes of conflicts, foster understanding between opposing sides, and promote reconciliation in post-conflict societies. Understanding the principles of conflict resolution and diplomacy is vital for promoting stability and cooperation in the international community. It reinforces the idea that dialogue and compromise are more effective and sustainable means of resolving disputes than resorting to war. Chapter 8. War and International Law. International law plays a crucial role in understanding war and its regulation. It establishes the legal framework within which nations interact and aims to prevent conflicts, limit their destructiveness, and provide accountability for violations. Key principles of international law related to war include the United Nations Charter. This foundational document prohibits the use of force except in cases of self-defense or when authorized by the UN Security Council. It emphasizes the importance of peaceful dispute resolution. Geneva Conventions. These treaties define the rights and protections of wounded, sick, and shipwrecked military personnel, prisoners of war, and civilians during armed conflicts. They set humanitarian standards for the conduct of war. International Criminal Court, ICC. The ICC is a permanent court that prosecutes individuals for the most serious international crimes, including war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. Understanding international law helps hold nations and individuals accountable for their actions during war. It also provides a framework for the peaceful resolution of conflicts and the protection of human rights. By upholding these legal principles, the international community can work towards a world where the rule of law prevails over the rule of force, and conflicts are resolved through lawful means. Chapter 9. The Quest for Peace. Understanding war isn't complete without exploring the efforts to prevent it and the pursuit of lasting peace. The quest for peace is an integral part of the human experience and international relations. Diplomacy, negotiations, and conflict resolution are essential tools in the pursuit of peace. International organizations like the United Nations strive to prevent conflicts and mediate disputes before they escalate into war. Peacebuilding and post-conflict reconstruction are crucial components of creating sustainable peace. These efforts involve rebuilding societies, establishing the rule of law, and promoting reconciliation in the aftermath of conflict. Disarmament and arms control agreements play a role in reducing the likelihood of war. Treaties like the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT, aim to limit the spread of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament. Civil society and grassroots movements also contribute to the peace process by advocating for nonviolent solutions, human rights, and social justice. Their actions can influence policy decisions and foster a culture of peace. The quest for peace acknowledges that war is not an inevitable part of human existence. By understanding the methods and strategies for achieving peace, we can work collectively to prevent conflicts and build a more peaceful and just world for future generations. Chapter 10. Lessons from History. To conclude our exploration of understanding war, it's essential to reflect on the lessons history has taught us. The study of past conflicts provides valuable insights into the causes, conduct, and consequences of war. By examining historical conflicts, we can identify recurring patterns, mistakes, and successes. This knowledge helps us make informed decisions about conflict prevention, diplomacy, and peacebuilding. History teaches us that war often arises from a complex interplay of political, economic, and social factors. It shows the importance of addressing the root causes of conflict and promoting diplomacy. Lessons from history also highlight the devastating consequences of war, underscoring the urgency of finding peaceful alternatives. The enormous human suffering and destruction wrought by past conflicts serve as a stark reminder of the high cost of war. Understanding war through historical analysis can lead to a commitment to conflict resolution, diplomacy, and the pursuit of peace. By learning from the past, we can strive to create a world where wars are increasingly rare and where disputes are settled through dialogue, cooperation, and respect for human rights. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and come along with us on this exciting educational adventure. Let's uncover the marvels of knowledge together on Understand.